here tonight from the request of I'm born and raised in Hamilton, New Brunswick, a small town in New Brunswick, and Mom and Dad were very, very religious. My mother did not, before she met my father, she stayed at the nunnery on Elmwood Drive. So coming from a very, very religious family, drugs, sex, and alcohol, we didn't speak of it when we were home. You know, it was just something we didn't do, right, to my mom and dad's side. So when I was 15, I had a boyfriend for about a year and a half, and I got pregnant. Not because, you know, obviously it's not a choice or not what I wanted, but it happened. I was 15, and around the same time I was pregnant, I had a younger sister who was 13 at this time. She was also pregnant. So we were pregnant at the same time, living under the same roof. So when my sister found out she was pregnant before I even knew I was pregnant, it was a shock to the family, of course, because she was 13 and she'd already been 3 months pregnant, I think, when we found out she was. And I remember telling myself, wow, I can't believe she kept her pregnancy in 3 whole months. So we kind of, you know, we accepted it. My mom and dad accepted the fact that she was pregnant and we were going to have a baby to the family. So a few months later, I noticed, you know, I had missed my period a few times and my stomach was getting a little bigger, my knees were tighter, and I, you know, found out myself that I was pregnant. And there was no way I was going to tell my mom and dad that I too was pregnant. So I told my sister and a very close friend of mine, and that was it. For 7 months of my pregnancy, I kept it to myself, and I kind of put myself in a state of denial. I knew I was pregnant, but I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. But I kept telling myself, it's going to happen. I'm going to have this baby, and it's all going to work out. So one day I got home. I started a job and got home that night, and my mom and dad had found out from somebody that I was pregnant. And so it was kind of a bit scary, but a relief that they finally knew that I was pregnant. And in the meantime, my sister had her baby, and that was, you know, that went all well. And then the next thing in July of '98, Mom and Dad found out I was 7 months pregnant and had 2 months to get ready for the new baby number 2. So they accepted it, and I'll always remember my father saying, "You're not the first, and you will not be the last." You know. So they were behind me 110% of the way. Asked me if I wanted to, you know, give the baby up, or if I was going to keep them. They would be there 110% for me. It wasn't always easy because, of course, from a small town like Hamilton, everybody talked. It was the talk of the town. I even had my brother who, throughout my pregnancy, knew I was pregnant, so he and a friend kept telling me, "Let's go to Moncton or Fredericton, we'll get an abortion, you know. We won't have to tell Mom and Dad. Let's go." And there was always something stronger than me inside that kept telling me, "No, you're going to have this baby, no matter what. You'll get through it." And I had my aunt from the States call me saying, "You know, give the baby up, move to the States, start all over. You know, you can't have this baby, you're going to ruin your life." So all these negative, I kind of turned it around and said, "I'm going to prove to you that I can do this," you know, and I did. So I had Andrew in September of '98, and I was starting grade 11, so my maternity leave meant taking a semester off school. So I stayed home for a semester and started school after my second semester. So I was able to graduate with my friends in 2000, and that was one thing, my goal I wanted to achieve. I wanted to graduate from high school and have a career. So I took a year off school, and I worked a year and went back to high school just to take semester courses, and then moved to Moncton. And Andrew was about 3 at this time, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to Moncton, I'm going to college." I wasn't sure what and where, but I said, "I'll do something." So I enrolled in a course here in college, and Mom said, "Do you want me to keep Andrew, and you can go on your own?" I said, "No," I said, "This is my time to start my life, just Andrew and I." And I wasn't with Andrew's father. We had broken up before I even found out I was pregnant. So I knew, even before I had Andrew, that I was going to raise him as a single mom, and I was ready to do it. So, I go to Moncton, and all we could get was a bachelor apartment because no one else wanted kids. You could have a dog or a cat. But I'm like, can I stay with, my son? Oh, no, dogs and cats are all right, but an apartment, you couldn't. And it was, so for a year we stayed in our little bachelor apartment, and this was 10 years ago. We still remember it. We had a class. We had some good times. So I went to college and graduated top class. Wasn't easy, but it was doable. So I graduated from the administrative assistant course, and 2 weeks later I got a job. I'm still there 12 years later with the same doctor. I'm a secretary here at the Moncton Hospital. Raised Andrew as a single mom for probably 5-6 years that I was on my own, and like I said, there was that something. I was determined. I wanted to give him a normal life like everybody else had, so I worked and I bought a house for he and I, and I'm still kind of kept going and saying, I can do this, nothing was stopping me, and now I'm happily married to my husband Benoit. All the way they still are, right? They're always there, and if it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd be maybe as where I am today. No. And I always say, would you do anything differently? And I said, because of Andrew, I am where I am today. I kind of took a bad negative thing and I turned it into a positive thing. And I said, you know what? I could have stopped my life and, went another route, but I said, no, I'm going to give my son the best that he deserves. And it's doable. And of course, I had faith too. Like, one big thing is God. We were raised Catholic, and then how many nights did I say the Our Father, or before anyone knew I was pregnant, and praying, and so that was I think a strong part of my life is having friends and family and God. And everything happens for a reason, and I always say everything happens for a reason, and it always will work out when it has to. And it does, right? So,
We want Andrew to take a bow with you.
I don't know if there's any questions. I know I kind of jump through back and forth, but if I can help one person or it's easy just to go and say, yeah, let's just terminate my pregnancy. It's easy to do that. It's, if you don't have the support to go on. And it happened. I've got friends all over, and it's just, what's the difference? And even when we were in St. John, the other girl who talked to me, she was forced to an abortion. And I said, what's the difference between our story